There are stalwarts, there are legends, there are winners. There are so many words that are thrown around when it comes to describing someone who's a champion of cricket. For these sportsmen, for these cricketers who stand out from the ordinary, we like to celebrate them and we like to call them our Klingon champions. I'd like to tell you about one of these Klingon champions, and when it comes to champions, this particular one is head and shoulders above the rest. Maybe not in height, but in stature and everything else. Let me give you a quick background. When it comes to air travel in the Caribbean, it can often be chaotic, it can often be disorganized, but sometimes the upside of this disorganization can be that it helps you form a bit of a bond and one that you'd like to cling on forever. This was a flight from Jamaica to Barbados that we were taking, and when it comes to the cricketers, the media and everybody else, boarding passes are generally distributed at random. You check in early in the morning, you're bleary-eyed, definitely not wanting to bond with people at that time of the morning. But still, there are autograph hunters, there are so many people you have to deal with. Sometimes you have a chat and that's it. We boarded the flight. I was given seat number 22B and I was most disturbed that it was a middle seat. I wanted a window seat, I wanted an aisle seat. Oh well, I had to take it. I walk into the plane and there I see sitting in seat number 22A was a certain Sachin Tendulkar, the Klingon champion I talked about. I had 22B and I was convinced that there was something wrong. I'm sure the players want to sit together and form their own bonds. So I was waiting for him to say that, look, it's a wrong seat, you need to swap with someone, one of his mates, or maybe one of our media guys had to get 22A. No, it wasn't. He was 22A, I was 22B, and the plane took off. It was a long flight, Jamaica to Barbados. We had a stop in Trinidad on the way, so it was going to be a good 5.5 to 6 hours. And that was an exhilarating experience. We sat there. I thought for a moment that he'd put the headphones on and he'd be lost in his own world, but he wasn't. We took off, and once we were allowed to use electronic devices, he kept it aside, and we chatted. And he chatted as if he was just another friend, just another companion, just another person you would normally bond with on any flight. But he was Sachin Tendulkar, and he shared experiences. He talked about anything, just like any co-companion I've met on any flight. It started with childhood, it started with his kids, his family, and how he'd be missing them. And of course, since we were on a flight, he talked about his love for flights, not the ordinary jet we were traveling in. That was going 800 miles an hour. He likes it even faster, just like he likes his cricket. He likes to be active. He likes speed. So that's what he started talking about. Fighter planes. He was in South Africa and he got to fly one of these fighter planes and he told me that story. We bonded just like two ordinary co-passengers. We landed in Trinidad, we took off again, the stories didn't stop. Yes, he listened to a couple of songs in there, but he was not being antisocial. Even I listened to songs at the time. Second flight, it still continued. I heard so many more stories, nothing from the cricket field. There was enough of that he does throughout the tour. These were all after-hours stories, and he talked about Caribbean hotels, the wonderful beaches that we were going to be seeing, the lovely resorts we were staying in. And of course, from time to time, he came back to the fighter planes, he came back to the fast cars that he liked, and it never got onto cricket. But it was a conversation that I'd never forget. It was a bond that I made, an active bond that I made with Sachin Tendulkar that I will always cling to for the rest of my life. So come on, we want all of you to get active and tell us who your Klingon champion is. How you do it is very, very simple indeed. Simply post a video on Instagram, tag @Castrol Cricket with the hashtag ActiveGram.